Morning, we're back, and I am working in an adorable animal grayscale coloring book by Jane Madej. And we are working over on this page, and if you missed it, go back to the first video. We did the rope or twine on here, and we did the little bird. Now we're going to look into doing this ball canning jar, and we're going to flip back real quick to the color picture, and it is showing that it's in the blues. I have grabbed some blues. I am using the Prismacolors on this. So I will go over those as I go through it. Let's start with the darkest bits on here though. So I'm going to pick up this 1027 and we are going to come in here and just start on the darkest areas of this canning jar. And my dark is pretty dark, but that's just, it's what I wanted for it. So that's just to say you don't have to follow every little thing in these books that show you what the original looked like. Okay? You can still color things up a bit and make it your own. All right, now I am going to go just a little deeper, meaning another layer, back here in this corner and around the leaf, because that will make that leaf pop to the front and make it look like it's closer to you. I'm also going to go under, right here, under that edge, because even though this is all the same color, this is that little lip or edge on the jar where you start screwing it on, and I do want that to look like it's closer to the top, so I have to make this a little bit darker so that that pops up some. I hope that makes sense. All right, now there's two lines here. We're going to flip to the back. I think that's still the jar, but let's just look and make sure, and yes it is. All right, and that dark came across even up a layer. So I'm not going to do that in this color. I'm going to count that. Actually, yeah, I am. That's going to be that outer ridge of the jar where the cap comes down. I was thinking it was part of the cap, but now that I'm looking at it, I get what she's done here. I do understand that. Okay. And we're going to add other shades over the top of some of these, and that's going to dull it back some. So if you're not quite sure on the colors I'm using, that's okay. You can even watch this through before you color to see if you really want to use the colors I'm coloring with. And then here's a line coming down. Now this is stuff that you're seeing in the background. You're seeing it through the jar. So that's why it's a little bit darker, because it's just in the background, just kind of hazy through there. Yeah, see? It's just right back through there. So let's keep working on this, getting this in. And then lighter as you're coming out so that you're able to blend that next color to it. You want to be able to blend into it. See, I'm using a very light touch right now. Just a very light touch, because that's ever so faintly in the background. So we do need it to be darker, but we don't want to be too heavy-handed with this. You can get really heavy-handed fast with a grayscale because you're telling yourself you have to cover all that gray up. No, you really don't. Okay, this is the bottom of the jar, so we're looking through and seeing the curve line in that bottom area. So this will be our darkest because it's settled way down in there. And there's nothing I can do to get that pencil out of your view. I'm sorry. I'm just looking to make sure I'm still on the page for you, or on the camera. I don't like watching videos where they're off the camera and they never even notice it. And I'm like, no. I do understand how it happens, though. Now see, I'm getting lighter as I come out. Lighter, lighter, till it just kind of disappears. You don't want any actual line. You want to blend it from dark to nothing. That way, when I come up here and do the next color and come down into it, the dark to nothing is here, dark, going up to nothing. And then this will be the light or the medium going to nothing. And then where they overlap is where they mesh and blend good. So let's go to our next color. And this is where I have to stop and think which one. I've pulled several. Did I pull 936? Because that would be good to do next. I just did. Okay, I just used 1027. See, this is how my brain works. And some of you have said, yeah, I love it. Okay, that's fine. That's how it works. I think I'm going to go to this next. The 1088. Is that one of them I pulled? It is. Good. So we're going to go to 1088 next and blend in. See how that blends? It's a total different color, but it's blending in because that dark went up to nothing. So now where I overlap them, I have that color. Okay? So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to do a little bit of light every now and then. Or this medium color rather, not light. I'm going to keep it light. And I'm going to go right into what I did before. Keeping it very light. This is what I call a transition color, because we've got to transition to the blue glass color. So we've got to come in and get lighter so that it will blend. Now here's where I'm going to go ahead and come in and go around those letters. And then blend out around the letters and then blend out. Can you see that it's mainly on the right hand side of these letters that's doing that, or on the right hand side of each bold area? That's because we're doing the shadows right now. The letters on the ball jars are dimensional, and so they do leave a little bit of shadow. Now, I would say the light source is probably coming from up here, the top area coming down, because our shadow is down here. So this is raised and it's casting a shadow down. Just getting that color in there. I'm going to go ahead and get some in here. Now, do you see how I'm still leaving that line there? That's because that was the bottom of the jar. So we do want that line left in there. We don't want to blend that out. And this is down one side, so we do still want to leave that line kind of there. We can blend out just a little, but we do want that line there. Okay? And see how we left a little line under that lip on this side? For some reason the light's hitting that. Now I'm going to turn the pencil go the other direction, and we're going to get that bottom area there. Okay, same thing over here. We're going to go ahead and get right under here. Blend this out some, blend this out some. All right. Now, we just did 1088. So now I want to go to even lighter. And I go through here and I'm like, wait a minute, none of those are really the same colors anymore. Well, that's okay. We just finished the background. Okay, so now we're ready to actually start the jar color. So let's go back and look. The other thing you can do when you don't have a good color copy like this and you want to know what the blue jars looked like, pull up a, just do a search. Yeah, just do an internet search and see. Now see, none of those blues are really matching up to that. And that's why I've got my swatches here. Can you imagine if I had to take every blue I had and scribble it on a little piece of paper? All right, so none of those are really matching. Let's look and see if the greens are. And see, this isn't too bad, but it's going to have some blue with it. So this is where we look, and you either change pencils, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick this 1086, I think, that light blue, and we're going to see how that does. So we're going to do this one, all right, and then if we need to, we can come back with some other blues over the top. I have another blue here pulled. Let's go back to our picture. I know this takes time, but a lot of you have asked me, would you please take the time to go back and forth and show us? So those folks, this is for you. All right, so coming back in, and I hope I was on the page when I did that. I think I was. All right, so now I'm coming in with that lightest blue, and there's some color on that, so I'm just going to take that off there. So we're starting with fresh pencil. Now I'm doing the blue of the jar, and I'm just going to blend all this. And now I'm back to my circles, yes. Hey, remember when we did the bird just a few minutes ago, I kept straight lines. So I don't always do circles, but I do them a lot. And see, when I pull this, it's pulling that color out and blending. So I like how that's working. Go across the top here, that's light. Let's come down the other side of this. And let's blend in. Just keep blending. Prismacolors are a wax base. You will get some buildup, some bloom sometimes, but you can just go across it with a tissue and take a lot of that bloom out. So just when you're finished, just rub over it. And if we get a bloom here, I will show you. I'm not layering the color as thick on this picture, so it may not really show up as a lot of bloom. Go around those letters, blend that. See, it does blend rather easily. Now, if you're not using Prismacolors, then you manipulate whatever pencils you're using to get those edges to really blend in, so that you don't see definite lines. That's what we're after, is just a smooth background on this jar. We want it to look like glass. Hopefully you're seeing how the reflections or whatever's behind it, or maybe this is a reflection from this leaf, you know what I'm saying? So that's what you want to do, is just make sure that you're having those on there to make it look more three-dimensional. Now I'm going to go ahead and go over all this just to keep it blended, but I'm not going to go this way because that would drag this up into there. So I'm going to make sure I'm going sideways here so that I keep the base of the jar down here at the base. And then I can go above it and do some blending. All right, now let's look at those letters. Oh, we forgot up here. Yeah, you almost let me forget. Of course it would have been your fault. Okay, so now we've got that pulled in too. And see, I can just pull that across. Okay, not bad. Then we go over here, and it's not the same, but for me, I'm okay with that. Now these letters, see how all that is even a lighter shade? Okay, that's some of it's lighter and it's where the light's hitting. So now we're going to go in and pull our number 1087, and I'm just checking to make sure that lead's in there good. I pulled because I don't want to get started on this and then the lead come out. I forgot to do that center there. All right, so now we're going to come in and do our lettering. And this time, notice it's very sharp pencil, because I want to be able to get down in those letters. And I'm hitting at it. I'm leaving some of that white because we do want some highlights on this. Okay, so there's that. Looking good. All right, so now then I'm going to take the white pencil again, and I'm going to come in, and white's not going to show up a whole lot, but just enough that I have some white highlights where the light is hitting this, because these letters are raised, so we're okay with that. And it's not a lot, but just enough.